they closed Central Park, so like, where do you want to get a drink?
Oh, what is this place? Clean Juice?
Clean Juice.
I've never been there.
Ooh, it says USDA organic on it.
Ooh, must be healthy.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Sure. After you. Hi, I'm Freddie Nosa.
I'm Kelly. Nice to meet you.
Freddie.
Savannah.
Brooke. Nice to meet you.
Savannah.
Nice to meet you.
So, Clean Juice, thank you so much for meeting with us. We just wanted to go over like the different like stuff that's going on with your processing and procurement. So, kind of to start off, we're AgriWall sourcing and data. So we'll be like analyzing the different answers you give us today and kind of figure out what the best solution for your problem is.
Yeah, so is it okay if we ask you a couple of questions to get a better idea of what your situation is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so first question I have is how often do you reorder your produce?
So we order twice a week.
Okay.
Usually, yeah.
Okay, so do you reorder everything at the same time, or how do you schedule it?
It depends. I send them what we need for our inventory. Generally, we can order everything at the same time every week, but we don't necessarily do that.
Okay. And then how long does all of the produce typically stay good?
So we have things that are good anywhere from like 2 weeks to 4 days. It just depends. I mean, like carrots and beets are going to last longer than something like avocados and bananas.
And how long do you order in advance for it to get to the store?
We order 2 days in advance.
So how much produce do you typically throw away at the end of each day?
So we actually don't throw away any of our produce. We use all of it in some way or another, even if it's about to go bad. For example, usually something like bananas or avocados will turn into something frozen, like frozen fruit, or we'll turn it into avocado cubes.
Okay. And then do the prices vary a lot for each type of produce, or do they stay relatively the same?
In general, they're relatively the same. However, supply and demand will be a little bit different. Because right now, for instance, celery is really high because there's a shortage of it. So there are items like that, but in general, it's about the same price every time.
And so when like produce is out of season, do you have trouble getting it?
Yes, so especially because we do only organic produce, we have a little bit of trouble getting things that are not in season because they're not going to be the same. So when that happens, you have to change up the menu or keep the menu and just buy different things.
Okay, so you have a changing seasonal menu?
Yes, we do. Right now, it's more of general things because a lot of the stuff isn't in season right now, so we typically will change the menu based off of what the season is and what's good at the moment.
So you actually have a changing seasonal menu?
Yes, so every 3 months we get a new menu of items that we're not going to be able to source. So for instance, right now we have a lot of stuff that's more of a general basis. So there's a lot of bananas and a lot of carrots because there's not a lot in season for us right now. However, when the summer comes and things will come in season like watermelon, we'll get that in stock and have a different menu for that.
Okay, awesome. And do you have one or more suppliers?
So for our produce, we have one main supplier and then we have backup suppliers. So if somebody doesn't have anything, we have other people we can go to, but generally we just use one.
And are your suppliers local or out of town?
We get our produce from Colorado, from Albert's Fresh Produce. But again, mainly because they're organic produce, you can't find them from a lot of places, which is why we have to source from Colorado.
So how much do you order each time?
Are we talking about price or weight of the produce?
More like how many days does it get you through?
Okay, so we get our orders every Tuesday and Friday. So the first order that comes in on Tuesday, we basically try to get enough just to last about 3 days. And then for Friday, it's a 4-day system.
Okay. And does it come in pretty fast with the lead time? Like the lead time and plenty of time?
Yes, it's about a 4-day system, so it comes in pretty quickly.
So with having like a big variety of ingredients and having a lot of fresh produce that could potentially rot, do you have difficulty estimating how much of each produce item? And is there any challenges with figuring out, like, for example, how many carrots I need this week?
So it's actually a really good question because that is something that we struggle with the most. You have to anticipate how many people are going to come in. Are there any events and timing and the factor such as weather? And then what is going to be most popular. Sometimes we don't get that 100% correct, but we have bars that we stick to. So there's a general idea of what's going to be ordering every time. Of course, that would just be based on like a bunch of different factors.
So is there a couple items or one item of produce that gives you the biggest challenge for estimating?
Right now, oranges are our biggest challenge because we're having a lot of trouble getting them, and we also use those more than anything, mainly because you would think that you get a lot of juice from just one orange, but it's really not as much as you think, and we use them for a lot of recipes. We also are having trouble with celery now just because it's hard to come by for almost anyone at this point, but most of the stuff is strong enough that you can get a general, like a good guess about how much you need and a lot of information about it, so you can go from there.
So it was really good talking to you today. We got a lot of good information that we have to go over, and we'll be going over that in the next week or so, and we'll get back to you with some recommendations.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Ready? Cleaners hungry! 1, 2, 3, cleaners!
Hi, Director. How are you today?
Good.
Were you able to take a look at that data I sent over to you yesterday about Clean Juice, the project that we are working on right now?
Yeah, and actually it was kind of simple. They just had a misunderstanding with how they did their demand forecasting. So I can go ahead and walk you through what I did so that you have stuff to relay to them. So originally they were just saying, oh, we need 25 smoothies a day that had oranges and like 15 juices. And that's how they were getting their normal demand forecast. They would say, oh, we just need 40 oranges daily. When really they had to take into account how many oranges actually went into each of their products. So with those 25 smoothies, they need an orange and a half, so that really changes the demand to 37.5. Whereas with juices, they need those 4 oranges because it takes so much for the juice to actually come out, which makes that a demand of 60. Then by pooling those together to like find your actual demand, it's 97.5 with a deviation of 8.9. So that, as you can see, that's a huge difference between 40 oranges daily and then 97 oranges daily.
No, yeah, definitely. Thank you for your help on this, and I'll relay that information.
You're welcome.
Hey guys, so I'm glad that we're able to meet back again today. We took a look at your problem and we kind of figured out what we think is the best solution. So firstly, we're going to be talking about how you need to optimize your inventory, so that really means adjusting your order planning and making it match more with your demand forecast, and along with how long it takes things to go bad or run out. And additionally, we'll be talking about pulling resources. So Brooks can go into it a little bit more.
Yeah, so since you said oranges was your biggest struggle, and it sounds like you're just ordering the total orange count and not separating it to how many you need for juices specifically and how much you need for smoothies specifically. And you said that juicing does take quite a few more oranges to make that juice, that you need to get separate demands for them and then pool those, and then that will give you your total demand, making it easier to predict the number of oranges you will actually need.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And anytime you want, stop by Clean Juice. You're always welcome there. And yeah, we look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Awesome.
Also work with y'all. Juice up!